quadruped like a sheep, but let's take a look at the real sheep. Do you see a sheep right here with its eye and its nose and its tongue sticking out right here? Why is there a sheep on the face of a raptor? Can somebody tell me why would somebody
my face
put
is now in
shrink
your
it down?
face.
Oh, look at the sheep. Oh my gosh. There's the sheep's eye, there's its mouth, there's its tongue, there's its ear. Why would somebody put a sheep on a raptor and it says, clever girl? Start thinking Genesis 1 now. Start thinking Genesis 1.
Start thinking about the trap.
Start thinking Parthenogenesis.
So the story is that because a reptilian can breed by itself, and there's Genesis 1, which let us create man in our own image. Our own image is where it's male and female. You have to have male and female to get the job done. You have to be a male and a female to get the job done. There's a Nephilim race, which is male and female. Twins, legitimate twins, identical twins. They're identical twins, but one of them's a male and one of them's a female. How's that possible? It is. It's the way it is. That's the Nephilim race. The Nephilim race is tricking God's angels. Because God's angels, they came from heaven, and so they wanted to have sex with women on the earth, because as they're up there, the forbidden fruit was you're not supposed to come down to where the tree of life is. There's two trees. There's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There's not a tree of the knowledge of good over here, and then the tree of the knowledge of evil over there, and then the tree of life, because that would be 3 trees. It's 2 trees. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which is knowing good and evil, the reptilian side of the creation. Then there's the tree of life, which is the tree that gives life, the breath of it. So the tree of life is what knows all about the tree of good and evil. The tree of good and evil knew all about the tree of life. They just didn't know the tree of life. There was no knowing of it, because there was no experience. You knew about the tree of life, you just didn't know of it. Now you know of the tree of life, and the tree of life knows of the tree of good and evil, which makes it a complete whole, because it's a group that comes together. Now, and not in the Sodom and Gomorrah way, because I can see how words can be thought of in that direction as well. But I'm talking about the actual interpretation of it, because there's like 3 all the time. There's the tree of good interpretation, there's the tree of evil interpretation, and then there's the tree of life's interpretation. So there's definitely 3 each time. You're not supposed to touch the tree lest you die. The tree of good and evil. So then you die. But the Nephilim race is the one that has male and female legitimately not, well, let's just say it's naturally, because of how the DNA was mixed. Even though it was an unnatural mix, but it's mixed, then so it becomes natural. That natural mix of the Nephilim race is actually a male and a female twin. It can also be where it's strictly 2 women twins or 2 men twins. It's not limited to that. However, if you're up in heaven and Satan's trick was to get God's angels to come down here as men up there, but then get defiled by women down here who were really transgender and they didn't know about it, and then they did, and now they do know about it because they were told, and then they're also told that in order to get back up to heaven, you have to be literally inverted. You have to be changed, transformed into the bride of Christ in order to get back up to heaven. Where you know that now, you know, male Johnny's up there, right? Or going back up there, and female Johnny was here, and you got played by Eve. So there's 2 different types of Nephilim race. I believe there's the male and female twin, which is a male, female, twin, identical, and then there's double down or double up, 2 females or 2 males, and the males seem to be the target, because if you were a male angel, that's why you got tricked into coming down to the earth and having sex with women, and they weren't actually women, they were transgenders. Maybe some of you knew that, maybe none of you did. And then the deal is the trick, which is the male Johnny that you have known, not before, possibly after, but at this moment, from the time you came down to now, you didn't know, obviously, because if you did, you would have known that you were, when you made the real deal with Eve, the serpent race, sleeping with Eve, you would have known that that was really, naturally, a woman. Now, it might not even have anything to do with God's angels up there that came down here, but everybody on the planet that got tricked into having sex with women, being defiled by women, but they weren't really actually women, they were transgenders. So that trick, there's a lot of trickery here. But you didn't know about Johnny the man from the gate, and then you thought that Johnny the man actually did the surgery, but the whole entire time it was just his sister. So it was a switch. That way he never had to do anything. But there's also the possibility that one of the twins actually did do that surgery, and then added like the worm that never dies, and then you're still both, it's like you're just rearranging your stuff. It's one other theory I have where you rearranged your component, male component, and kind of just like tucked it away, and then created a female component down there, and then, you know, and then at whatever given point in time the snake comes out. That would really be a good trick on people that go for it, like the men that think that, you know, there's a woman there. But that might be dead on too. But let's just say it's a far-fetched thought that's possible. Dear Journal, here's my thoughts today. Who's judging you besides yourself with anything that you think of? Obviously, it's just you, Robin. You're just, if you don't say what's on your mind, it's because you fear someone's going to judge you, or you fear that what you're saying might sound so ridiculous that people which might not listen to you. That's how the demons are defeated inside of my own vessel, because this is a window of opportunity right now. There's a lot of things that Kleck is showing, and his purpose is to reveal it all, and then my purpose is to interpret it all and then give it back taking what he does, mixing it with what I'm doing, and then give you a better view of the whole picture. See, Click gives me the frames of or he gives me Click gives me the still shots of pictures, and he's like a collage. The clicks are like a collage of images because people are worshiping the image of the beast. I'm like the picture frame. I take all of the pieces of the puzzle of still images, and then I place them in a big old picture frame in sequence in order to make sense of it. That way I can present it to everybody and say, here, look, this is what's going on. You can continue to deny it if you want to, that's fine, but the ones that work directly under Jonathan Click and the Clicks and Derek Bros, I haven't gotten into that as much with your twin. Maybe Malia's your twin. Maybe she's your twin sister. Maybe it's a twin. Either way, it's twin sister and brother. But you're not really identical twins. But you're twins. You're born at the same time. And everybody with the Nephilim race, you keep it in the family, and that's how the bloodline continues on. So anyway, being tricked that bad and hearing it now, because now Johnny's just toying with you. He's toying with you because it's kind of funny when you know the direction he's going with a certain sentence, with what he says, and you can tell that as he says it, these people that have been following and doing what he says, but they're constantly getting led astray, because especially ones that came down with him to down here, like to heaven, from heaven, came down here and got tricked already. You already got tricked. So you've already got tricked with the transgender reassignment. It's a reassignment surgery, but you didn't know about it. And then let's say some of you know about it now, only because I've been telling you. And now you're like, oh my God, what is that really true? Or you could all know about it and voluntarily you've come down as a male and you voluntarily are having sex with a male who transgendered into a woman. But there's probably some also that don't know that. And then, look, eventually you're going to know if you didn't know. And once you start knowing and you're hearing it, you're starting to get a little nervous. Because at the same time, you keep hearing my name all over the place being mentioned by these people on the, like on the mainstream media, and then Click all the time. But then you don't, you see, you're hearing it, and then there's like those verses come to mind, like, and they look to put him in charge of all of the princes and captains and presidents, and so all the other princes and presidents, and they're all kind of getting a little worried, and so they just want me to go away so I can stop putting this fear in their heart, because they're like, you guys are like, uh-oh, what if that's true? We already did come down. He already explained what our freaking planet looks like, and he's never been up there. I don't know how he knew that one. And I guess, well, maybe it's because Click is telling him. Nah, he's just getting lucky. Well, then how is he figuring it out if nobody's telling him? I don't know, but I'm getting a little worried. So, if you didn't do the surgery yet, remember, it's free will. It's one thing I've come to the conclusion of. A lot of bad things do happen. A lot of things are real. I thought a lot of things are fake. But it is free will in the end. Even if you know, you still have free will. For those, this is my message. For those angels that came down from heaven to have sex with women, and you got defiled, just know that there's a very highly likely probability that you may have had sex with a man and you thought it was a woman. Just giving you a heads up. If you didn't already know that. Now, if you already did know that, so what? It's just there is still a group that I gave you space to repent, but you didn't. You didn't repent of your sorcerers and your murderers and your fornication. You just didn't. Because you know you're good with it. Like you've already been conditioned. You're fine with it. It's going against your creator. Like, I mean, the one that created the Elohim gods. You're going against God purposely because you're giving him a big old F-U finger to the face. Alright, that's fine too, because it's free will. You have a right to do that. And you also know who your boss is. It's Click. It's Click. You may not know Click's sister. You may not know that. You may have come down here and got defiled by women and you already knew it. Or maybe you didn't know it. But the final I guess, the thing that you have to do last in order to get back up to heaven, because you already came down here, you already defiled yourself. I mean, you already had sex with men, now that you were told that all the women that Click show you, they've had that. They're either planted agents to pretend that they had the surgery done, or they actually did. So there are there's a lot that did it. If you got the tramp stamp tattoo, get a tramp stamp, it shows what you did. The mark of the beast, because it's actually a mark. Why do you think Trump's talking about building the wall? What does a pelvis area look like when it's cut off? Well, it looks like a wall. What does it look like if you're sewed up? It looks like a wall. What if that's another one of the threats as well? We're just going to sew you up. You want to eat something? You want to drink something? Good luck. Where's it going to go? When it's time to go to the bathroom, what are you going to do? That's horrible. But, I mean, that's a possibility that it's a threat that you guys have heard. Because here's the threats. If you don't get inverted and converted, in order to go vertical, you've been conned. So you got to get converted, and you have to mail in your ballot as God's angels who had already been defiled. So let's say you didn't know that these women that you had sex with were men before, and then you found out. Now it's like, oh man. So here's the only way you can get redeemed to go back to heaven, even though it's not. What I'm telling you is don't do it. But if you fear that the earth is going to burn up and you're going to be left behind, free will, I can't stop you. But if you didn't know what you did and now you do, and then it's like your mindset is like, oh well, whatever, it makes me I guess that makes me a homosexual then. So then you go ahead and do the surgery in order to get back up to heaven, because it's all about as you were told, this race, what did you say the race was, Click? This race was
a reptilian race that was able to self-replicate and make many of themselves go forth and multiply. Start thinking Genesis 1, raptors. Start thinking Parthenogenesis.
There you go. Parthenogenesis. You were told that. Here you go. This is the way. You were told that you can go from male to female. You can have this surgery done, and because you're using your own stuff, because this could be the surgery where the worm that doesn't die, you still have your junk. It's just it's going to be turned inside out and round and round. So something goes on inside of your pelvis area where there's like an implant. Maybe there's some kind of thing that kind of adds to it that turns it around or something. Like, I don't know, it just sucks it in. Instead of being in front of you, it's like, and then there's like a cover. So anyway, you were told that, whether that's the case, but there was some type of surgery that you were told that you can get done, and then you can become creators, and then you can do that to yourself. You can birth in your own self, or you can have your own. You can go from being a man to a woman, but also some tough words to remember. Parthenogenesis. Miracle gift of knowledge. Strip. So you were told that you can do that. But before you do that, before you go back to heaven, you have to get this done. If you don't get it done, look, you're here with everybody else who's going to be left behind. And it's not going to be good, because it's Satan's world. These 3 days of darkness, Satan's people are let loose. Well, there's a period of time where as soon as they turn their face against their own land, that's it. There's no more. But they were, even they were tricked into believing that there's a time that they're just gonna go and kill everybody, whatever they want to do. Maybe that's true. But what if it ain't? And you were tricked. You were tricked into believing that you can get a surgery done as a man, get converted into being a woman, and then reproduce on your own. But also the goal is you got to stand like the Statue of Liberty. You got to have the mark of the beast in your right hand. Plus you also have to have the mark, which would be a mark, like literally it would be marked up. You have to build the wall. And then you have to cannibalize yourself when you cut out the heart of the cake, like Marina Abramovich. Marina Abramovich. You're cutting out the heart. But it's really like the heart of your life is, it's like between your legs, because that's what the whole planet has been taught, that's like the most important thing. So that represents cutting out your heart is your heart, is your area. And eating it. Voluntarily. This isn't some forced thing. This isn't some we're gonna grab you and handcuff you and chop your head off. Or maybe they are. Maybe that's what the pot. See, I think this is what the plan was. That's why I think everybody's so scared to death. And I come along like, just ain't happening. God doesn't, it's not the way God works. Like, the way the end of this world is, if that happened, it's like, why would God allow that to happen? Well, because God is free will. God doesn't do anything except for reveal secrets to his prophets. He's not doing anything. But why would God allow that to happen? Well, he won't. Well, how can... Well, you're saying it's free will, then if God won't allow that to happen, then you're saying he's intervening and he's interrupting free will. No. God refuses to allow that to happen, to continue. How's God going to stop it if you're trying to say that God is free will and Satan is forced will? Well, I'll tell you exactly how God stops it. He stops it by the word of God. Just by words. Hey, click. Just by words. God stops it. How does peace come on earth? By words. What do you mean? He doesn't do anything? No, not at all. God doesn't do anything. He just speaks words, and they go into existence, and then they penetrate deep into the hearts of people who have an ear to hear. If you want to hear it, listen. You'll hear it. That's the way that God refuses to allow things to happen, because the way that the red wave is, it's a red wave. Trump's telling you about this wave. Yeah, it's a flood, but it's the red wave, not the blue one. It's the red one. I mean, it's kind of funny. Trump talking about late voters in Pennsylvania. It's like the only state that does it last, and I haven't voted, and it's kind of funny. 6th Street and anything that's green. Because as I talk to my brother, I can show my brother I showed him the clips of Obama saying my name, but it's like, yeah, but you can chop up anything, and yeah, I can, but at the same time, did Barack Obama, did he or did he not say my first name, my YouTube channel, and my last name, and reference saying a last name? And I'm the crazy uncle because I'm telling Trump to say like Tara to reference my niece. I'm the crazy uncle, all in one video, as he's standing in front of the link that I know something's going to happen at this link, because everybody's clicking the link below, and it's 4.1 miles from the Lincoln Financial Field up and around to rounding the turn at 410 Access Road. Trump clicks a still shot. All this in one video. But I'm wondering, hey Trump, are you still, sounds like you're wroth because I'm not voting for you. But will you still make references even though you're still wroth with me because I didn't vote for you yet? I mean, it shows true character if you continue to do it. And because it's about trying to, I'll do my best to get people to believe. It's not like I can get my brother to just believe what I'm saying, or anybody. I'm getting them warmed up for the big shebang. I'm getting them warmed up, the little things here and there. That way when it hits, then it's absolute belief. But what if it never does hit? What if this second 9/11 is all a farce? Everybody's coming to Philadelphia as if it's going to be destroyed, and then nothing happens at all, and Trump just gets reelected. Like there's a little rumor of 3 days of disappearing. Like there's some kind of darkness, but it's not an actual second 9/11 exactly to the T the way I said it would be, because then that would be like the dragon giving power over to me. And why would the dragon want to do that? I'm just a regular person on the planet. I don't have an affiliation with anybody. Does it benefit you guys to give power to me? because that's exactly what that will do. That second 9/11 in Philadelphia on the 9th of Av, November 9th, 2020, darkness from about the 6th hour to the 9th, at 8:48 a.m., Obama's up there having the 9/11 down the bottom, saying 8:48 it was a.m. Be still, know that I am God. That would be the God of the earth giving his power over. And because at the same time it's Liberty 1 and Liberty 2, Building 1, Building 2. Liberty 2 is 848 feet tall. Liberty 1 is 59 floors high. The Ian commercial, he's on the 59th floor. Jonathan Kleck is 58 years old. There's actually 58 floors. There's actually 58 floors on record, but the 59th floor is the one that the party's on. So that's where Ian is. That's where Ian goes, to the party, on Liberty 1. So if that 9/11 happens at 8:48 a.m. on that day, just know that the power is given over. And if it doesn't happen, then nothing, and it's just like next year goes around. All right, then they canceled it. All right, there's no more dates after May 14th, 2021. That's as far as I can go. May 21st, 2021. That's it. Can't go any further than that. October 21st, 2021. 2022. Now, I always make predictions until they all come true, or until I can't talk anymore on the YouTube channel. But all channels are getting shut down. All YouTube channels. So, it's not going to be the end of the act. Like, you're not going to, I don't think you're really going to know it's the actual end of the world. You might get a few days of something, and then all of a sudden everything's reset. And then you'll see me pop back up to YouTube, because when the missiles hit Philadelphia, if they do, the EMP, it's going to knock the power out for a few days. You're going to hear about it. You'll probably hear that all of Philadelphia was like wiped out. And it's like, wow, I guess Robin's dead, because he said he would be there on that day from the 6th to the 9th hour. And all Center City's completely blown up by, you know, either bombs / missiles / stars falling from heaven / asteroids. Did you notice the Eagles on that weekend is a bye-bye weekend? They're not even playing at the Link. That's so perfect for you guys to be at the Link from Sunday into Monday, because the Eagles aren't even there. It's a bye week. After the 8th week, the 8th going into the 9th week, because it's 8 full years. Yep.